So, welcome back. So, like I told you in previous chapter, we'll be rendering our asset. So, before we start rendering our asset, we need to pay a visit to Maya once again. So, here in Maya, open up Maya once again, and let's go to Maya standard viewport here. Let's press Control A, and let's enable this keyways over here. Okay. So previously we forgot to do one thing. We assigned smoothing according like on an automatic base. So we need to do one thing over here for you. These edges might be sharp. These two edges. These might be like this. If they are giving out very sharp effect, what I want to do is go to this, go to edge mode, select these edges where you are getting sharp effect, and give it soften edge. We want it like this. Okay, so we are going to export this once again. Don't bother about we exported model with sharp edges over here and all. Eventually what what we will be doing is we will be importing model separately into Marmoset, and we'll be importing textures separately into Marmoset toolbag. So model over here doesn't matter a lot. It served as just basically one proxy over here. So we can export model from here once again. So what we can do is we can smooth the edges once again and export the model again. So what we are going to do, once we have smoothened the edges over here, let's delete the history and freeze transformation, reset transformation, delete history, and click on export selected. So we will export it in the FBX oil barrel UV FBX. Okay, and export selection and yes, click on yes, it will overwrite it. So once you have exported, we need to export one more thing from here. So just go into UV editing workspace again, select everything here, and just click on this UV snapshot. Okay, this button over here, click on it, and we'll be exporting the wireframe to showcase in the portfolio, wireframe of the model. So let's select this, and let's select PNG over here. 2048 looks fine, and we will be exporting the wireframe in green color. Okay, and you need to select where you want to export the wireframe. So let's go into this resources module to oil barrel textures, source textures. Let's name it oil barrel UV, and click on save. Oil barrel UVs. Okay, let me check, reset. Let's export it as PNG. Let the color be green. Okay, and image format, and we have to select the directory. Let's go to my computer media, this sorry, not this, resources module to oil barrel textures, source textures. We'll have to export it as oil barrel underscore UVs. Now we have successfully exported. You see here the wireframe, and it is in PNG. That is what we need. So let's close this and let's import it in Photoshop. Let's bring this over here, this UV barrel UV PNG, into the Photoshop, and name this layer as wireframe, and we'll create one more layer and bring it below, and we will give it a grayish color. Okay, this color, and press G and just fill it. So we have this color. So if it is looking too dark, let's give it a lighter color and fill it again. So let's Control Shift S to export this, and we'll be exporting it as PNG only, and we will overwrite this. Save. Yes. Okay. So let's close Photoshop here. We don't need Photoshop now. And let's open up this, and we have this. I'll tell you why, because it is very important to show your wireframe in video games portfolio. Okay, it is important to show wireframe. It is important to also show your try count over here. The try count is 2884. 2884 is still too high for a video game, but I am not emphasizing on try count for now, because it is still, we are still on a beginner stage, and I don't want to mess up your mind with things like try count and all. The main focus of this is to teach you how to model, and later on you can grasp on to your how to reduce try count and all. Okay, let's go to standard. So we have exported model from here, the model we needed. Now let's open up Marmoset toolbag. If you don't have Marmoset toolbag, I'm currently using Marmoset toolbag 4. Let's Marmoset toolbag 4. You can go to their official website and download the trail version for the sake of learning. Okay, you'll be able to get trail version from this website. So let's close this, and let's click on sky here. Before we start doing anything, let's click on sky and let's select color over here. Okay, we don't want blurred sky, ambient sky, color and all, because we need to keep our focus on the model, not anything else. So let's drag this back, and let's start importing our model over here. So to import our model, all you have to do is go to wherever you exported your model. I exported it in assets, FBX, and this is the model we need to use it here. So let's drag and drop in the user interface, and now we have the model here. Okay, the user interface is exactly, navigation is exactly how it was in Autodesk Maya. Okay, you know, now I don't have to tell you. The only difference is to zoom in Maya it is left and right. Here it is up and down. Okay, other than that everything is the same. Let's delete this low poly matte. We don't need this low poly matte. We'll be creating our new material over here, and we'll name it as oil barrel, and we'll be creating one more material over here, which is wire frame. We'll be rendering out wireframe also from here. So let's see what we have to do to start rendering. So let's open up this, and now that we have imported the model here in Marmoset toolbag, we need to export these textures from Substance Painter. Okay, so to export textures, all you have to do is File, Export Textures. Okay, now I will tell you what to do. So click on this output templates and click on PBR metallic roughness. Okay, you need this, and we'll be using PNG 8-bit plus detethering, and texture size you can export it in 4K. 8K also you can export. 2K works fine. 8K you won't be able to see any difference, because if your monitor is 8K, then you'll be able to see the difference. Then if it is not, then there's no use on it. Will only occupy more, export more heavier textures. So here in dilation, here in padding, you have to select dilation plus default background color. I'll tell you what it means. So for now, you just select wherever you want to export the textures. I am going to export my textures under textures, exported textures, I created a folder called barrel textures and I exported everything here. I selected and I'll click on export. I have already exported, so I don't need to click on export. You can click on export and the textures will be exported in your selected directory. Okay, let's close this and we need to export one more texture from here, which is not in this so we'll be exporting color map, metallicness, color map, roughness, metallic, normal, height, and emissive. Emissive I don't need. You can tick it off if you want, but it won't do any difference. It won't export if there's no emissive channel in your model. So once you have exported, we need to export ambient occlusion also. So just come to this section here in library textures and type in AMB. Just type in AMB. Okay, here you will be able to see this ambient occlusion. Okay, right click on it and export resource and select the barrel textures folder and open this folder. Select it will export the textures to the folder selected directory. Exported textures. I don't need to. I'll delete this one. Okay, now that you have your textures over here, what you can do is come back to Marmoset tool back and under render you can use ray tracing. So ray tracing, currently I am recording and it will slow down my PC a little bit. So I'm going to disable ray tracing for now and we'll render our final once we have imported and applied the textures on the shader and the shader is applied on the model, you can enable ray tracing. That is what I'm going to do. So for now I'm not going to enable ray tracing. So one by one we are going to start importing the textures. Okay, now let's open up this ambient occlusion over here. You can see occlusion over here. Click on this small arrow over here and click on occlusion. Now we need to import this ambient occlusion oil barrel LP low poly matte ambient occlusion map over here in the occlusion map over here. Not this one. This is cavity. We don't need this. We'll be importing. I'll show you the difference when it is imported. I'm going to drag this and drop this in the ambient occlusion channel. Okay. Now you are not able to see the difference because the shader is not applied. So once you drag the shader to it, you will be able to see that we have a little bit darker spots over here, which is ambient occlusion. Okay. Now that we have successfully imported ambient occlusion, you can rotate the light and see it is exactly same as it was in Substance Painter, sorry 3D Painter. How to move light. Hold shift and right mouse button and move your mouse left to right, you will be able to rotate the light. Okay, now that we have successfully imported the ambient occlusion map, I always import ambient occlusion map first to see the difference, to see the effect of ambient occlusion map on the empty model without any color information. So next what we are going to do is import our color map. So this is our color map, base color. We are going to drag this and drop it into albedo. Once you drop it, you will be able to see the color on the model. Okay, it is as simple. This software is very easy. You'll be able to learn it very fast. Okay, now we have successfully imported ambient occlusion color map. Now we are going to import roughness. Okay, so for roughness map we can we have our roughness map here. Just hold left click, hold on it and drag and drop it into roughness map channel. Micro surface, under micro surface you will be able to see roughness. Just drop it here. Now you have roughness also. Okay, now what we are going to import next is normal map. So normal map, very first channel over here which you can see is normal map. Okay, so let's left click, hold on this normal map, drag and drop it. You have normal detail here. Okay, excellent. So what else is left? We need to import the metalness also. So for metalness here you can see reflectivity, metalness map. All you have to do, like for the rest of the maps, all you have to do is drag and drop. You see the changes? Now it is looking, the model is looking nice, right? So this is almost done. You can basically run the render now, but we are not going to do that yet. So we need one base to place our model on. So what we are going to create is create one plane here. We will increase its size significantly. Okay, like this big. Let's keep this at 150, 150, 150. Okay, we don't need any subdivisions here. So let's remove the subdivisions. Let's keep the subdivisions to 0. And what we are going to do is UV editing. Go to UV editing, click on it, go to this UV mode and just run an unfold command. Decrease the size very little. Okay. Now let's come back to this. Now that we have successfully unwrapped this, what we are going to do is freeze transformation, reset transformation and delete history, and we are going to export it and name it as base. Okay, we'll be using it as floor. Export selection. Now let's open up Marmoset toolbag over here and let's import our model, the floor model. Okay. So assets under FBX, you'll be able to find base. So just drag and drop it here. Now the base has come here. Okay, for this let's delete this Lambert material and let's create one more material and name it as base or floor, FLOOR. Okay, now for the floor material we'll drag and apply it to this model and let's go to the browser and find one good texture to be applied on the base. So let's open up and let's go back to texture haven. There are so many sites. I usually go, I find myself going back to texture haven only. So once it's loaded, let's click on textures and we need one floor texture. So let's go to floor. I like this brick wall. This can be used as floor texture also. But let's look for more options over here. And I think this stone tiles looks good. And let's open this. If you middle mouse button, if you click on middle mouse button, it will open in new tab. Gravel stones. There are so many options here. You can open any of apply download any textures you want. I think this stone slabs look good. Let's click on reload. For some reason these thumbnails have not loaded. Let's click on floor again and slab tiles. There are pretty decent options over here, but I think we can download this slab tiles. We'll download 1K or else we can download 2K texture and hit on download. So before we extract the this thing, let's go back. Let's go to textures, under source textures, sorry, exported textures. Let's delete both of these and let's create one folder, name it as floor. We'll be extracting the contents of this zip file into this folder. So let's open up this zip file. So we can open up these textures, we can drag and drop it here. We have the textures here. Let's open the. So basically all you need is slab tiles, ambient occlusion. I don't think so you'll want this texture. Let's not delete it yet. You'll need this diffuse, DIFF means diffuse displacement. You'll not use displacement. And the slab tiles normal DX means DirectX, and GL is OpenGL. So you don't need to know the differences. I'll tell you this in the later stage. And slab tile roughness. So basically this map is pretty useless. Let's delete this, and let's apply it in the marmoset toolbar. Let's apply it to the floor here. Okay, so let's we can drag and drop it to the floor here. The and once let's start assigning the textures. So the normal, use this normal DX, apply it on this normal. So you can see the normal maps coming, a normal detail coming up. And then in the metal, this metalness is pretty, has zero metalness effect, so will not be putting any map over here. Let's put in difference into albedo. You see the map is pretty huge. We need to adjust the tiling. And let's bring in the ambient occlusion. Let's click on this small arrow here, ambient occlusion, AO. Okay, and what else? Reflection, roughness. Yeah, roughness, we'll need roughness map. Here is the roughness map. Let's import the roughness map here. It's pretty much done, so I think. So we need to decrease the tiling. These slabs are looking too big. So let's go to texture over here, and let's increase the tiling. Okay, let's keep the tiling to 5.5. So let's see how the tiling is looking. It's looking nice. Let's rotate the light. It's giving out too much effect on the floor. So I think it's looking nice. But we need, let's click on the render here, and let's enable, and yeah, now it's looking good. Let's move this a little. Basically, I want to get this black thing over here. Now it feels like it is intersecting with the floor. I just want to get a feel that it has been placed upon the floor. Okay. Now that we have enabled, now what we can do is basically move this to the left, this model to the left, and press Ctrl D, and you can duplicate it. So instead of showing only one, say one barrel here, you can show multiple barrels. Let's create some variations. Let's move this forward, and let's create one more duplicate of this. Let's rotate it and place it like this. Let's enable rotation snapping. Let's rotate it 90 degrees, and world space, click on the orientation world space, and it's looking good right now. Let's move the lights, because in this way it is giving out very hard reflections on the floor. So let's rotate the light. Let's see if we can find a point where we can get no reflection in the frame on the floor reflections in the frame. Let's increase the size of the floor and increase its tiling also, because once we increase the floor size, it will increase the texture also. So let's increase the tiling to 10, I guess 10 or 7.5. Let's 7.5, 10. 10 yeah, 10 looks pretty decent. So looking fine. Let's move it out of. I think let's delete this. Let's make one more duplicate. Let's place it in. You can basically render one barrel, or you can create its duplicates to make it look cooler. So let's rotate this a little bit to show the dent that we have created. Okay. I'm liking the way it is looking right now. Let's see if we can create any better lighting, and let's click on this new light. You'll be able to see new light. Now let's create it, or let's make it, okay, let it be a spotlight only. You can see, press W, you can move the light. Okay, and let's disable this world orientation, and let's disable the snapping, rotation snapping also. And we need to create, see, now it is giving out very hard and there are no shadows in the for the barrel. So to avoid that, we have to place light in an interesting manner, so we get shadows also. So we can so let's delete this and let's create this light from here. So just hit, okay, now looks good. Now you can see the light settings over here, the brightness. You can decrease the brightness, you can increase the brightness, you can go crazy on the brightness, or else you can, let's do one thing. Let's click on sky. Let's disable the sky here and see what effect the light is giving. So let's click on light again here. Let's increase its brightness very little by little. Interesting lighting is the key to everything. Your model may be very bad, but good lighting will make it look very interesting. So focusing on lighting is important. Let's place this light over here. Let's make it project the light from the back. Can also do this. Increase the brightness. Let's click on sky and increase its brightness. Sorry, not from here, my bad. You can increase its brightness from here. Move the light. It's looking nice right now. Let's move this model a little bit, or else you can do this. Place one model in front. This looks better. Let's create one camera and let's lock the camera to this orientation. I mean this position, and let's lock it. Now you won't be able to move it. Now if you want to move around, you'll have to go back. You'll have to go back to the main camera again. Just trying to look this scene a little more interesting. I think we can render it out right now. So let's select this camera. Let's go to render, and okay, before select this, I need to zoom in a little bit to showcase model clearly. Now let's lock the camera. So let's come under render, and you need to set the path where you want to save your render. So basically it will be somewhere else. All you have to do is go in wherever you want to save. I'm going to save it under the images, and I want to name it as R1. R1 means render 1. So let's save, and once you hit render image over here, it is going to save the image in this folder, the render image in this folder. So you see you are getting the image which you hit render, this one. So this is the image which you are going to use. So let's take it into Photoshop and let's see how we can present this in Photoshop. So let's open up Photoshop again. So let's drag and drop it into Photoshop. So before we start doing anything, I want you to do is just unlock this layer, Control J, duplicate this layer, hide this one. We are going to use work on this. So hit B, hold Alt, and let's sample from this color. And what we are going to do is create one. Select any brush which you like. Okay. Paint out the floor a little bit. Increase its flow to 100%. Paint it out. Looking fine now. Let's clip the image a little bit. So we have this in the center. Now let's select the marquee tool. Let's press V and let's move it. Okay. Let's press Control E over here, marquee tool. Let's move this up a little bit so it is in the center of the frame. Okay. Let's press Control D and let's create one more layer. Place it below the layer. Press B, sample from this, and press G and fill it. Now you can merge all the layers and we can do a little bit of color correction here. Now if you feel like anything is going wrong here, brightness looks fine, contrast also, don't go too much crazy, don't go too crazy on these things, keep it very subtle, and color balance. Even this is fine for me. Exposure, let's see what we can do in exposure. The image was looking very bright for me. Let's decrease a little bit of gamma here. Okay, so basically this, so you can say that we have completed the module 2, which is oil barrel. Okay, I'll show you. We learnt what is blocking. We learned creating barrel high poly from the block, and then we created low poly from high poly. Then we did UVs. Then we went on to 3D painter, did the intro and baking, and we started creating textures. And finally what we will be doing is, let's save this. Let's hit Control Shift S, and let's save this in the image folder. Final images. Let's save it in the JPG format. Final image, save. Let's take the quality to the fullest, hit OK. Now you can open up this. Let's put this in another folder, raw renders. Let's put this here. This gives a little interesting feel. So after doing this, we are going to render out wireframe. Okay, so wireframe is nothing but to show how your model looks like without the textures. Okay, because it is very important for the model to look and have very clean wireframe. So let's disable the base here. Let's hide this here. Let's disable the base, and let's delete both the barrels, and let's apply it with the wireframe. Okay, we worked on the wireframe shader. Let's name this as wireframe underscore, just to avoid the naming conflict, and let's name this as oil barrel. So we'll be applying this shader here. Here we'll be needing only one channel, and that is albedo map. So let's open up the folder back, and let's go into textures and source textures. Let's import this into the albedo channel to show how your model looks. Okay, let's unlock the camera. I think we have, oh yeah, let's increase the roughness over here. So this is to basically show how your render looks, I mean how your model looks with the wireframe. You can take multiple renders of this. Let's disable this ray tracing. You can take multiple renders of this and showcase in your portfolio. Okay, so this is our final render, and last chapter of our module 2, and we'll start with module 3 next. So if you have completed module 1 and module 2 successfully, then congratulations. You know the basics of 3D modeling, you know the basics of 3D texturing, you know how to lay out UVs for a very specific purpose, which is 3D game art. Okay, you're learning this especially for the purpose of 3D game art, not for any wide like the course is very specific, and I'm teaching you everything for the 3D game art purpose. Okay, so let's end this chapter, and I'll see you in the module 3. Thank you.